Good afternoon. This is my outline. So, today I'll be answering the question, how do different nations create a national image, and to what extent is this different from reality? I'll be using the literary text of The Complete Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi, as well as the non-literary text of North Korea's Lipstick Diplomacy by Sookie Kim. To start off, it is no surprise that countries around the world create facades for themselves to broadcast to the world or even to their own citizens, and reasons may be expanding national pride, legitimizing government, or, as it may come to no surprise, covering up domestic misery. To start off, using Sookie Kim's article, The Lipstick Diplomacy, many know North Korea's government as a dictatorship, and to sort of cover this up, they deploy their best-looking women to public events, and these women are beautiful cheerleaders who are supposed to represent North Korea, show the world to their people. And I quote, "In reality, they are mostly students selected from upper-class families in Pyongyang for their loyalty to the party, their musical talent, and their looks. These women are deployed abroad by the regime on special occasions, when it wants to show its best face, or best faces, rather, to the world." Sookie Kim. So, first off, looking at the authorial choice of word choice and the repetition of the words face or faces is exemplifying that North Korea is showing off a face that may not and is not true. Also, the fact that Kim is calling North Korea's face their best face signifies that there are different versions of this face that North Korea has. Most foreigners, or people who know anything about the North Korean government know that North Korea is starving the majority of their people. They have no free speech or trade, and torture or even death towards dissidents of the regime. Now, using this previous knowledge, we know that this best face is only 0.5% of their population, who they're broadcasting to show the world that, in fact, there are healthy people. So this face of theirs becomes a facade to cover the ugly truth of what their state is actually like. This is a blatant, covered-up portrayal of North Korea to depict a better national image than what is reality. Another example of this facade was with the North Korean former lead singer of the band called Moran Bang, coming from a loyal Pyongyang family, and quote, "Perhaps that is because she has been specifically selected by her country to pose before foreign cameras, look pleasant, and distract the world from the fact that no matter how picture-perfect the athletes appear as they march under one flag at the opening ceremony of the Games, it's been just 5 months since North Korea conducted its 6th nuclear test." Kim. Now, this was written in February of 2018, and there have been more tests after that. Again, this quote further exemplifies North Korea's usage of someone deemed beautiful by Kim Jong-un as an image of healthy citizens, which, using the authorial choice of juxtaposition, is contrasting the beautiful singer and the beautiful cheerleaders to the actual reality that North Korea is carrying out nuclear tests instead of feeding their citizens. So this choice of juxtaposition shows how significant the mask of the beauty of the cheerleaders and the singers differ from the reality of the North Korean government. Now, it's also important to look at Suki Kim, her point of view, because she was raised in South Korea and then at the age of 13 moved to the US. So both these states are largely democratic and largely opposed to the dictatorship of North Korea. And so, of course, through her education, through her experiences, this will influence her views. And the fact that she thinks that a democratic government is the most humane and effective government. So she most likely believes that North Korea's actions are horrible. Now, one can connect this image of America being such an imposing democratic state because we have sort of an American exceptionalist outlook on the world, how America is the land of opportunities and the American dream, and how we are here for any refugee or person who wants liberties that their own country may not give them. Now, is this a facade to reality is the question with America, considering that we do have many discriminations, such as unfair police brutality or the blocking of Central Americans and their right to apply for asylum or visas. Now, looking at another part of the world than North Korea and America is Iran. Analyzing the literary text of The Complete Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi, set in revolutionary Iran, pre-revolutionary Iran. There's a quote made at the beginning of the book, so before the revolution, on page 15, that says, quote, "The BBC said there are more than 400 victims. The Shah said that a group of religious fanatics perpetrated the massacre, but the people knew that it was the Shah's fault." Satrapi 15. So, even before the revolution, the Shah, otherwise known as King Reza, had covered up this massacre, this fire that happened at a closed movie theater. He covered this up by saying it was a group of religious fanatics, even though Satrapi said the people knew it was his police force. This shows that Iran, even before the pre-Islamic revolution, was creating an image that was completely different from the corrupt reality of Shah trying to kill his dissidents. So the authorial choice in this quote is the word placement, that each sentence starts with the noun or who said this. So, for example, BBC, then the Shah, then the people. And this exemplifies how she has different access, like from different sources. So she is showing us that there are different views to this face, to this facade. And it's also characterization, because young Marjane is educated. She has different sources, such as the BBC, such as what her parents say, such as what she thinks. She's privileged to actually have this British news outlet as well, and so it's important to see this point of view within the book, because we have many different sources to get our information from in this book, as well that it can be limited because it's from a first-person point of view. And my fourth evidence from The Complete Persepolis, my second actually, which is during the revolution of the Islamic extremist, many mothers mourned their sons' departures to fight in the war against Iraq. Satrapi's maid said, quote, "They gave this to my son at school. They told the boys that if they went to war and were lucky enough to die, this key would get them to heaven." The key symbolizes the imposed honor and sacrifice that these young boys have to do. It materializes the door to heaven, which is said to be the paradise better than life. And this diction of lucky enough to die shows that martyrdom in this period of Iran is celebrated, even though the reality is that these boys, there are mothers out there mourning for them, families. If they're men, they still have wives at their home, their kids that are mourning for them. So this is imposed facade on the internal Iran. It's people to try to rally them up to go fight against Iraq. Now, comparing these two texts, both the Iranian regimes of the Shah and then the post-revolutionary Iran Islamic regime, they're both, as well as North Korea's current regime, they're both imposing facades that are portrayed. However, the Iran regimes are portraying their actions differently to set internal morale, but then North Korea creates some national image that is for the world to see them differently. It's external.